What up, everybody? Instructabeats back again here with another coordinate plane lesson. Today we are talking about finding the distance between vertices. So this is going to build on what we did in our previous lesson, just finding the distance between ordered pairs. So let's check out our map to see what our objective is today. Our objective today I will be able to find the distance between two vertices of a shape or use the distance to find a missing vertice. So there's really one skill that we're doing today, but we're going to apply it in two different ways. All right, so check out this I do problem so you can kind of see how we ask these questions. Again, this is just all using the same information that we learned in our previous lesson about finding distances between ordered pairs, but just in a little bit different way. All right. So first of all, rectangle QRST has vertices Q, negative 2, 4, R, 1, 4, S, 1, negative 2, and T, negative 2, negative 2. What is the perimeter of the shape? And we know perimeter, right, is the fence that goes all around. So we're going to add up the distances of all the sides to find the perimeter. So first, you could do this mathematically, okay, but it's a little bit easier just to graph it. So let's go ahead and graph these ordered pairs, okay, label them, and let's take a look at what our rectangle should look like. So first of all, Q is negative 2, 4, so you got to shuffle on the cart before you climb up the steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here is Q. R is 1 and then 4. Okay, so here we have R. S will be 1, negative 2. There we go. And then T will be negative 2, negative 2. So here I can see the shape of my rectangle. For me, it's just easier to connect the lines. And it won't be perfect, right? But I like to just connect them. There we go. So I can kind of see that rectangle. And then I want to find the perimeter of the shape, right? So I want to find the distance between Q and R, the distance between R and S, the distance between S and T, and the distance between S or T and Q. So just like we learned last time, right? The distance is going to be the absolute value between the two numbers, right? So Q and R. So here I have 1, 2, 3. Okay, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Using my rectangle now, just obviously should be a 3, 1, 2, 3. And then this should also be a 6. So once I graph them, right, all I got to do is add them up. 3 plus 6 is 9. 3 plus 6 is 9. My perimeter is going to be 18 units. So really simple today, just kind of combining two different things. Graphing and finding the distance between two ordered pairs. Now you could do this mathematically as well. It's going to take a little bit longer, right? But if we're looking at the horizontal distance between Q and R, we're going to be looking at the x-axis of Q and R. So negative 2 minus 1 would be negative 3. And again, we want the absolute value of that because we're not worried about if we went left or right on the number line. We're talking about the distance between them. So the absolute value would be 3. If you were talking about between R and S, right? That's the vertical distance. So you're going to be looking at the Y ordered pair. So 4 and negative 2. So 4 minus a negative 2 is just going to be 6. And obviously the absolute value of 6 is 6. So that's how you could find it mathematically. You do the same for each one. And if you look, we got the same numbers and we can add them up. So you can do this mathematically or on the graph a little bit faster on the graph, I think. All right, let's take a look at a we do problem now. So this one should be in your notes. If you don't have the notes, you can check out the link in the description of the video. I have vertex A, which is at negative 3, 2, vertex L at 0, 2, vertex X at negative 3, 5, and then they gave me two different directions to find my two missing vertices. So I have two questions. What shape is made and what is the perimeter? So the first thing we want to do, right, is plot our other two missing points. So it says vertex E will be 4 to the east of vertex L, right? So if I think about this as a map, I have my north, east, south, and west. There we go, right? If you're kind of looking at the compass for the map, all right? And so if I'm starting at L, I'm going to go 4 to the east of L, right? And that's where I'm going to label E. So if I start here and I go 4 to the east, that's really 4 to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm going to label that as E. Now obviously this one is a little bit messed up.
Oh
This should
no!
be like a, I don't know, an S or something. Can't have two E's, that would be confusing. So vertex S will be 7 to the east of X. So 7 to the east of X, that means we're going to start at X, go 7 to the right. So here's X, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right there. And I have 5 ordered pairs, but if I connect them all, I actually made a rectangle, right? And so I'm just looking at another rectangle. This isn't going to be perfect. I just kind of want to outline it. And again, this is something that they love to try to trick us with. They might give you 5 ordered pairs, but they're all in a straight line. We really didn't need L at all. It's just something, an extra layer that people add in there to be a little bit confusing. So what shape is made, right? So I can see right here, it's going to be either a rectangle or a square, although a square is really a rectangle. Check out our quadrilateral hierarchy song for that. So, and we want to know the perimeter. So to decide whether or not we want to label it, if it would be more accurate to be called a square rectangle, let's find the distance between the vertices of my square. Okay. Now, obviously, we try to trick you, right? L is not really a vertex, so this would just kind of be a point L, but we would have given away the answer if we labeled it correctly. So in between A and E, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. In between E and S, I think is what we called that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units, which means this is 7 and that's 7. So it's going to be more accurate, more descriptive to call it a square. And the perimeter would be 7 plus 7 plus 7, right? Plus 7, which is going to be 28 units is my answer. And again, if you didn't have the graph, you could do this mathematically, right? If you want to find the distance between A and E once you figured out what the ordered pair for E was, which is going to be 4, 2, you could have taken the ordered pair for A. You know you're looking at horizontal distances, so you're going to be looking at the X ordered pair of 4, -3. Well, guess what? -3 minus 4 is -7. The absolute value of that, because again, we don't care about the directional sign of the negative or positive, we care about the absolute value, is going to be, it's 7 units between them, right? And that's the same thing we got when we counted. If you're looking at A and X here, right, you'd be looking at the vertical distance, which is going to be referring to the Y ordered pair. So that's going to be 2 for A. For X, that's going to be -5. So guess what? 2 minus a -5 is going to be 7. The absolute value of 7 is 7. So you can do it mathematically using the ordered pairs. Just remembering that horizontal distance is the X ordered pair, vertical distance is the Y ordered pair, or you could graph it out and look at it. So the first question, right, we use ordered pairs to find the distance between the vertexes, right? The second one, we gave you the distance, you had to graph it, and then you still had to find the perimeter. This one is kind of a combination. So it says, if the points given on the coordinate plane are the 3 vertices of a rectangle, what is the coordinates of the 4th vertex? And then after you do that, you're going to find the perimeter of the rectangle. So this should be on your notes, all right? If you don't have the notes, again, check the description, the link in the description of the video. So you're going to push pause in a second, try it out, okay? And then push play to check your work and then make any corrections you may need to, right? It's okay to fail as long as you learn from it. If you have no idea what we're talking about still, you can just continue to watch and add this as another we do problem to your notes, pausing to take your notes when you need to. So go ahead and push pause, try the problem, and then push play when you're ready to check your work. So hopefully you just paused it, and now we're going over the answers, right? So if my ordered pair for a rectangle is here, that means my missing one would have to be right here, right? Because we know it has to be the same distance. The opposite parallel sides have to be the same distance to make it a rectangle. And so then if I connected that, I'd have my rectangle right here, kind of a crooked rectangle, but I did my best, all right? So that'd be the missing side. What is the perimeter? And so for this one, I would just use the graph to count the differences. If they had given me the ordered pair with no graph, I don't want to draw a graph. I would use a mathematical way of looking at the X and the Y ordered pairs and finding the difference between them, just like I showed you how to do the last 2 problems. But because you have the graph, I would just count the distances to come up with the perimeter. So between my 2 red dots up here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just to double check that I counted right. And then it should be 7 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now I know the distance between all of them. I do 5 plus 5 is 10, 7 plus 7 is 14, add those together, and my perimeter should be 24 units. So again, two different ways to apply this skill, and then just like we talked about last video, two different ways to find the answer. You can use the ordered pair to do it mathematically, remembering that the x ordered pair is your horizontal distance, the y ordered pair is your vertical distance, or graph it on the graph like we just did and simply count them. Either way is fine with us. So thank you so much for checking us out today. We know there's lots of different options online. We really appreciate you spending your time with Instructabeats. Again, check out our website, Instructabeats.com. Buy any merch off there that you like. Help support us. We'd love you to subscribe, leave a comment, let us know where you're watching from. Again, thank you so much. Instructabeats out.